It all started 3 months after their wedding. Anna and David had been madly in love when they got married. Everything felt like a dream. Sweet texts, surprise dinners, long cuddles after work. But that shiny, dreamy world began to crack slowly, like a small spiderweb on a windshield that just wouldn't stop spreading. The first fight wasn't even about anything big. David forgot to take out the trash again. Anna had reminded him twice that week, and when she saw the bin still full that night, something in her just snapped. But instead of saying anything, she just gave him a tight smile and went to bed without a word. David noticed something was off. He asked, "Are you okay?" No response. She turned her back and scrolled on her phone. That was the beginning of the silent treatment. The next morning, David tried to be playful, even made coffee for her, but she sipped it without even looking at him. Her silence was louder than a scream. It had weight. It said, "You failed me." David didn't know what to do with that kind of quiet, so he started getting angry too. The following week, a new fight started, about a missed call, but this time, David didn't hold back. He shouted, loud. Words came out like bullets. "I can't read your mind, Anna. You just shut down. What do you want me to do?" Anna shouted back too. "You never listen. You always make me feel small. I have to yell just to be heard." And that's how it went. Days of silence, broken by bursts of yelling. The pattern repeated like a broken record. They were stuck in a loop. When two people who love each other fall into this kind of cycle, it's heartbreaking. Not because one is right and the other is wrong, but because love turns into hurt, slowly and quietly. Silent treatment and shouting might seem like opposites, but both create emotional distance. One builds a wall, the other creates a storm. In the first year or two of marriage, when couples are still learning how to live together, these two responses can do serious damage. It's easy to think the yelling is worse. It's loud, it's messy, it hurts. But silence is invisible. It's like standing in a cold room calling out and hearing nothing but your own echo. No fight, no apology, just a growing gap. Psychologist Dr. John Gottman, who studied married couples for over 40 years, found that stonewalling, the fancy term for silent treatment, was one of the top predictors of divorce. When one partner shuts down emotionally, it makes the other feel rejected, abandoned, and angry. Gottman called this one of the 4 horsemen of marital breakdown. But shouting isn't innocent either. Yelling triggers fear. It makes our heart race. According to a study published in the Journal of Family Psychology, couples who frequently yell at each other experience higher levels of stress and are more likely to report dissatisfaction in their marriage. The research even showed that shouting can change the brain's response to future conflicts, making us more reactive, less rational, and emotionally numb over time. So, which is worse? Imagine you're drowning. Shouting is like thrashing in the water, screaming for help. It's painful, but at least it shows the person wants to be heard. Silent treatment. That's like sinking slowly, with no one noticing. You're disappearing, and the person you love doesn't even throw a rope. One night, a few months into their first year of marriage, Anna finally broke down. She was sitting on the kitchen floor at 1 a.m., crying quietly into her knees. David walked in, saw her, and something clicked. This wasn't about trash or missed calls or cold coffee. This was about feeling ignored, unloved, alone, even when they were in the same room. David sat beside her and whispered, "I miss you." She looked at him, eyes swollen and red. "I miss us." They didn't solve everything that night, but something changed. They made a promise. No more freezing each other out. No more screaming across the room like enemies. They promised to speak, even if their voices shook. To share, even if it felt uncomfortable. To sit with each other's pain, instead of walking away or shouting over it. They learned to say things like, I felt hurt when you didn't reply. I'm not okay, but I don't want to fight. Can we talk? Let's take a break and come back in 10 minutes. Simple words, but powerful ones. It didn't make the fights disappear, but it made the love stronger than the fight. There's a quote by the famous philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche that says, "It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages." That hit home for Anna and David, because when they stopped seeing each other as enemies and remembered they were on the same team, everything softened. They started asking why they reacted the way they did. Why did Anna go silent? Because growing up, when things got hard, no one listened, so she learned to shut down. Why did David yell? Because in his house, that was the only way people got attention. Understanding each other's pain didn't excuse the behavior, but it explained it, and from understanding came change. Another research study from the University of Michigan followed 373 married couples for 16 years and found that couples who both avoided conflict had the highest risk of early death. That's right, not fighting at all or silently swallowing pain was worse for health than arguing. So, in a strange way, fighting isn't the enemy. The real enemy is fighting unfairly. Yelling and going silent are just two ways people protect themselves. But marriage isn't a battlefield, it's a partnership. And you can't build a partnership on fear or silence. The key is not fighting. The key is learning how to fight with love. Speak when you're upset, but speak softly. Listen when your partner speaks, not just with your ears, but with your heart. And never, ever use silence or volume as weapons. Marriage fights will happen, but let them be about growth, not destruction. Let them be about understanding, not punishment. Let them be the kind that brings you closer, not the kind that leaves one of you sleeping on the couch or crying on the kitchen floor. You deserve a marriage where both of you feel safe to speak, where you can disagree without fear, where love stays louder than any argument. Remember, the strongest couples are not the ones who never fight. They're the ones who know how to come back together after the storm. So if you're in that first year of marriage, figuring out the dishes, the bills, the quiet moments that turn into cold wars, know this: you're not alone. You're still learning each other. And you have time to rewrite the story. Let your fights teach you. Let your love heal you. And above all, keep choosing each other, even when it's hard. You are stronger than the silence. You are gentler than the shouting. You are capable of building a marriage where both voices matter and both hearts are heard. Don't give up. Don't walk away. Talk. Listen. Forgive. Because love isn't always easy, but it's always worth it.